All right, my friends, J.R. Dukes here. Appreciate you joining me once again. What an eventful past 24 hours. If you haven't heard, many news stories are developing as I sit here talking with you right now. One of the main things I've been following the last few days is today is day 3 of former President Trump's so called fraud trial in New York State, which of course was brought by a Miss Letita James, who, of course, as we've talked about on my channel, is an individual that ran on a platform that she was going to F Trump and get Trump and all kinds of profanity laced. You name it, she's probably said it, and a lot of it is recorded. At any rate, she is in court right now with our former president, Donald Trump, in front of Judge Arthur. I think it's pronounced N. Gordon. I'm not great at pronouncing names, but whatever. This judge is a political judge, a political hack, if you will. He has donated to Democratic campaigns. He has already found our former President Donald Trump guilty of many counts of fraud. The problem with this is this particular part of the trial only addresses damages. That's all they're working on at this point. I have made other videos showing that this judge, although they never allow cameras in court in New York State, guess what? For our beloved president, they made an exception. And they turned the cameras on just enough so that the lovely attorney general and the judge could be seen smiling, and then the AG was seen sitting behind former President Trump, just giving him a stare down for the cameras. Of course, she has aspirations to run for governor there in New York State, and she's going to do so, in her mind, by persecuting Donald Trump and his family. At any rate, Donald Trump just got out of court for a brief moment, and as he does often, he is making comments and stating how he sees the events in front of reporters. To say he exploded is putting it mildly. We're going to jump right into it, and I want you to tell me exactly what you think is going on, because he is not happy. Here we go.
President, did this go well for you? So we're going down the line, page after page, document after document, and the bottom line is this is rigged. Because the judge knows whatever he's going to do. He said that Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million, and it's worth $1.5 billion or thereabouts. But he said it was worth $18 billion. So they defrauded us because he called me a fraud. He called me a fraud, and he values Mar-a-Lago at $18 billion. $18 million. And you can't.
There is something that I have to point out quickly, but I do have to point this out. I live in the state of Florida, and in the state of Florida, it can be very confusing as far as taxes, specifically property taxes, are concerned. In the President Donald Trump case, the judge there in New York State has incorrectly referred to the tax documentation to ascertain a value of the Mar-a-Lago estate. That is something you should never do, because in the state of Florida, when we get our tax bills in November, at least that is the way it is in the county that I live in, the assessed value is well below market value. So assessed value and market value are definitely not the same, and you must keep that in mind. This is what the judge has used in relation to Mar-a-Lago to determine that the president had committed some type of fraud, which of course is false on its face. What you see on your tax return is not what somebody will buy your property for. I don't really understand how they compute it in the state of Florida. All I can tell you is based on my personal experience, it is never what you can sell the property for. So I just want to make sure we make that point, and we're going to get right back into it.
Do that. It's worth probably 50 to 100 times more than that. And our corrupt attorney general, she's totally corrupt. She just wanted the publicity to run for governor, and then she failed running for governor. She had practically nothing in terms of vote. But she went after Trump because she was running for governor. That's the only reason. But she got the judge to value Mar-a-Lago for $18 million. when the smallest house in Palm Beach is probably worth $50 million. And this is the biggest, the best anywhere in the country. There's nothing like it. So they put it down at 18 million, and they said I overvalued it because we had it valued at a much lower number than it's worth. And by the way, my financial documents are valued much less than my actual value, which nobody even knows. But the financial documents that I gave to the bank are much less than my actual net worth. So therefore, I gave them to the bank. They can't be a fraud because I gave them lower numbers. I'm probably one of the only people ever to seek a loan. I didn't even need the loan because you see the kind of cash I have. I didn't even need loans. Maybe you don't do a deal or two. But I have a lot of cash, a lot of everything. You know, a lot of people are very surprised at how successful this is. You saw it today with the kind of cash I have and the kind of success we've had. But I'm a private company. I was never going to reveal this kind of stuff, but now it comes out. It comes out because a corrupt attorney general sued me for fraud.
Amen.
And then they found
Amen,
out
Donald.
they had no case. And they have no case. And today, if you read the New York Law Journal, they basically say they have no case against Trump. But I'm here, stuck here, and I can't campaign. I'd rather be right now in Iowa. I'd rather be in New Hampshire, South Carolina, or Ohio, or a lot of other places, but I'm stuck here because I have a corrupt attorney general that communicates with the DOJ in Washington to keep me nice and busy because I'm leading Biden in the polls by...
That's exactly right. What's going on here is election interference. You talk about election interference. Election interference is keeping the leading Republican candidate tied up in court on a daily basis so he's not able to go out and campaign and try to make all of our lives better. It is ridiculous. It is shameful. It shouldn't be allowed to happen in our country. And I hope and I pray our president, Donald Trump, can prevail in the end. But we will see how this turns out. Let's get right back into it.
A lot. That's all this is. This is election interference. They made up a fake case. They're fraudulent people. And the judge already knows what he's going to do. He's a Democrat judge. In all fairness to him, he has no choice. He has no choice. He's run by the Democrats. I know this city better than anybody knows this city. Nobody knows it like I do. He's a Democrat judge out of the clubhouses. He's controlled, and it's a shame. What's going on here is a shame.
Amen.
Our whole system is corrupt. This is corrupt. Atlanta is corrupt. And what's coming out of D.C. is corrupt. But this is a good one because this one is interesting.
Why attend?
This one is very interesting. Why attend? Because I want to point it out to the press how corrupt it is because nobody else seems to be able to do it.
Mr. President,
That's right, Donald.
New York Law Journal today did a very good job. And others have done a good job. They say there's no case
Good job,
here,
Mr. President.
But we have a corrupt attorney general that tried to make a case. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, you live in Courtroom.
Absolutely, absolutely unbelievable that they can get away with this in our country. You know, folks, all of this litigation, all of this that has happened, you've had our own president have his personal residence raided at Mar-a-Lago. You've had him brought up on numerous felony charges in many different venues in many different states. You have the government going after his children. You have the sitting administration, the Biden administration, using the FBI and all of their resources at their disposal, Department of Justice specifically, to go after his leading presidential competition coming up in the next election. Notice how they never charged him in all the years prior to this particular year. Now all of a sudden he's the leading candidate. He looks like he's poised to win, and they are not going to take it. They are going after him with the full weight, the full abilities and resources of the United States. And I'm telling you, this is bad. This should not be allowed. All the problems we have in our country, all the problems there are going on in the world, and we are fighting among ourselves in this particular way. You know, I'm going to tell you something. If this happened in El Salvador or happened in some other country where you had a local AG, a local prosecutor go after the main competition of the sitting person in power, the United States would be filing sanctions. We would be up in arms. We would be doing everything at our disposal to put the screws to El Salvador or whatever country we determined was not engaging in fair practices or was trying to stifle the ability of a country to have a free and fair election. This is what they accuse Donald Trump of doing, is trying to interfere with election. This is prima facie election interference, and it makes the United States nothing better than a banana republic. We no longer have the moral high ground to preach to other countries of how they should or shouldn't do something, specifically when it goes to taking out other people. I have seen this type of thing go on before across the world, and I have seen what's happening to President Trump happen down the line, so to speak, to smaller businessmen, to smaller individuals that frankly don't have the money and or connections, power to fight back. It is a rigged system, and this is dangerous. This is one of the reasons Rome fell. The Roman Empire fell in large part due to corruption. And if we're not careful, God forbid, God help us. I love the USA. We must save our country. Folks, please stay informed. I always talk about having a free mind. That's a fancy way to say educate yourself. Think for yourself. Don't believe what you hear. Don't believe what you've always believed your whole life. Ask yourself, why do I believe what I believe? Why do I do what I do? Get all of the facts, have a free mind, and think for yourself. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe to my channel, share my channel so you can help me spread this good news and great information I hope that you're enjoying. I love being able to talk with you. I love your comments. I'm going to be making a show very soon pertaining to the comments I have received because I would like the opportunity to respond to a lot of these comments. At any rate, it is my pleasure to talk with you, and I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you tuning in and listening to what I have to say, whether or not you agree with me or not. I sincerely appreciate that. At any rate, until next time, friends, I am J.R. Dukes.